Welcome to the Brunswick Library. My name is Connie Surek and I am the manager here. And I wanted to let you all know about a program that we are offering this winter for adults called our Winter Reading Program. It is happening now and it goes through March 15th. It is very, very simple. So you come into the library, you grab a winter reading entry, you put your name and your phone number and then the library that you frequent the most, and then you just read books. So for every book that you read or listen to, you just write an entry right here. You could fill up all 10 if you want. If you don't think you're gonna be able to read all 10 and you can just do a few, that's fine. Do as many as you want. The next time you're in, you drop it off in one of our boxes. You can also play online. If you go to mcdl.info/reading game, you can go there and sign up and register online and record everything online. There's also an app. It's called Read Squared is the program that we're using, and you can download the app and do it on the app if you would like. It's very simple, easy. If you just go to mcdl.info/reading game, all the information is there to be able to log on online and record or to download the app as well. So if you are to use this paper entry, you come in, you drop it in the box, and then for every entry, so every book title you read, every entry puts you into the drawing for the grand prize for each branch. And so we have our book lovers bundle. And the book lovers bundle is a reading pillow, a neck lamp, a journal, and pens. And so that is every book you read is an entry, and each entry then, the more you read obviously, and the more entries you get in, the better your chance of winning the book lovers bundle. And then we have same thing, each book you read, each entry gets you also put into the grand prize bundle. And that is the book lovers bundle in addition to a Kindle Fire, a stylus, a page turner, and then a case for the Kindle Fire. The more you read, the better your chances are of winning. It goes through March 15th, and we just encourage you to read as much as you can, record it, bring it in, or you can play online. And it's just a great opportunity to read and maybe possibly get something for it. If you play online, we do have what we call our missions. And so we have 3 different missions. I believe it's you read or you listen to an audiobook, and visit another branch. And there is another mission that I can't think of off the top of my head. So you can complete one of those missions, and if you complete one of those missions, you come in and we give you a coupon to get a free book from the friends. So again, just another opportunity to read more and possibly get something for reading. So stop in anytime or give us a call if you have any questions. Come check us out. We're looking forward to seeing you. So one of the things that I have gotten into recently, book-wise, is called Japanese cozy fiction. It's like new to us in the States, at least. It's kind of an emerging trend that we're seeing. So for those of you that love cozy, and cozy in a nutshell is something where it's a feel-good read. And it doesn't mean that nothing bad ever happens. There still could be a little bit of sadness. There still could be some tensions, but overall, you know it's gonna work out well, and it just feels good to read. You want to be wherever they are. You want to be eating whatever they're eating. You want to be, enjoying whatever they're enjoying, and it just feels good. The Japanese cozy book that I have just finished is called What You Are Looking For Is in the Library, and I'm probably not going to say this correctly, by Michiko Aoyama. It was just precious. There's 5 different stories, 5 different people, 5 different characters that all have something going on in their life. They're all a little lost. They're all a little not sure of what to do next. And they come into the library for whatever reason, and they ask for books, but they're really asking for so much more, either advice on what to do next, but they don't really know it. They're not physically saying it out loud, but in their heads, they're like, what am I looking for? I'm looking for, a new job. I'm looking for the next thing to do. So they talk to the librarian and they have an interaction, and she's kind of a interesting figure, not your typical librarian figure. She gives them a list of books that is what they asked for, and then there's always one book that is very out of the blue and not really sure why they got it. And then, so they'll get that book and that's what intrigues them and that's what they'll read. And then it puts them on a path for rediscovering themselves and what they are needing in their lives at that moment. And then these tiny little changes they make to kind of shift their world and start to make some changes happen. So it's all because of this intuitive librarian, and she's the main thread. And then there's just 5 different characters in their storylines. And it is just delightful. And if you are fans of Japanese culture in any way, this is great because you're in it, and you're in Japan and you're knowing all the little like ins and outs of their culture and what they do and some of the recipes they make and the food they eat and their customs and culture. And so it is just delightful, and I recommend this to anybody who loves cozy or anybody who loves Japanese culture or anyone who wants to try something different. Quick read, very short, but just a joy.
I'm Samantha. I'm the children's librarian here at Brunswick, and I'm excited to share the books that I'm reading with you. I've been kind of on what I'm calling my lady knight phase, where I've been reading a lot of books centered around female knights, and they're kind of fantasy, kind of historical adjacent. And the one I'm currently reading is The Isle in the Silver Sea, which is this one. I also really loved The Everlasting by Alex Harrow and The Second Death of Locke. They were wonderful books, and it's just been fun to kind of play in this kind of world right now. I wouldn't be a children's librarian if I didn't shout out the middle grade series I am also reading, which is The Queen of Ocean Parkway, which is kind of Only Murders in the Building, but for kids. She's a girl who lives in an apartment building in New York and does a podcast about her neighbors and the mysteries she encounters in the building, and each book is about a different mystery in the building. They've been very fun, and I'm always trying to read more kid mysteries, so this is my current foray into that.
Hi, I'm Courtney, and I am our full-time customer service clerk, and I just finished reading The Last Heir to the Blackwood Library by Hester Fox. It's a historical, little bit of fantasy, kind of a gothic novel. It starts with the main character. Her name is Ivy. It's 1925. She's poor. She lives in London, shares a flat with a friend, and she gets a letter from a lawyer. She goes and finds out she's inherited this abbey. That's this English estate. She has a title, and when she gets there, she finds it's not what it seems. The staff are very unfriendly. There are locked rooms, and she doesn't really know what's going on, but something very mysterious is happening. People are telling her to leave, that she shouldn't be there, and suddenly she starts misremembering and forgetting things. So it was really interesting. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I was expecting it to be a little more cozy, and it got pretty dark at the end. It took kind of a twist I did not see coming, and that's what I've been reading lately.
Hi, I'm Mel. I am the teen librarian here. The book that I'm going to talk about, however, is not a teen book. It is a slice of life fiction book called Sandwich by Catherine Newman. I don't usually pick up these type of books where it's about family and connections, but I felt like I needed like a warm, cozy kind of read. This is about Rocky, and she and her husband and her 2 children. Her children are grown up. They go to Cape Cod every summer. She talks about like her past years, going through her kids growing up, during these summer vacations, the relationship between her husband, who is very easygoing, whatever happens, and she's kind of like a high-strung person. I identified with her a lot. And how their family grows as their children grow up, and menopause, which is something I'm not looking forward to, but I feel like she just probably described it really well. So this is just about just the joy of a family growing up together despite their problems. And Rocky has been holding a secret, which she decides to share with her husband and her kids. This vacation, and it's just all about love and the people you love. And it reminded me very much about when my family, we used to go to Lake Milton every year. And I think that it brought up those feelings. So if you want a book that kind of brings up those feelings of togetherness, summertime, and just life, then try Sandwich by Catherine Newman.
Hi guys, I'm Natalie. I'm the reference librarian here at Brunswick, and right now I am reading a pretty chunky book called King Sorrow by Joe Hill. And Joe Hill's actually Stephen King's son, so he's kind of into the same sort of thing as his dad. It's mostly horror, it's got a bit of a fantasy bent, and basically it takes place in a sort of dark academia setting at a prestigious college, and a group of friends accidentally summon a vengeful dragon from like the netherworld that demands a sacrifice once a year, and they sort of have to pick the person that the dragon's gonna eat. So it's a very, very fun sort of bargain with the devil kind of story. And it's really towing that line that I love between horror and fantasy. I just love any book that can blend those two together. And it's around 900 pages. So definitely kind of an epic, sort of tale I could really sink my teeth into. And I'll also talk about one book that I just finished for my book club, which was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And that is a classic novel that was voted the best book of the 20th century. It came out around 1930. And it's sort of a gothic romance / psychological thriller. Think Jane Eyre or Wuthering Heights. So if you're into that kind of era of literature, or even if you're not, I highly recommend it. I really couldn't put it down. The writing was gorgeous, and the suspense just kept me guessing and turning page after page. So every once in a while, I kind of like to read a classic novel. I think it cleanses the palate. So I really enjoyed that, and then moving on into King Sorrow has been a lot of fun.